Boy, can I help you?
Listen up. I'm bringing you the best content to ever exist in the door-to-door industry, from sales, leadership, recruiting, and personal development.
Well, why would I need that?
Because never before have we been able to collaborate with the top experts in their industries, sharing their secrets and techniques on what makes them the best.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your host, Sam Taggart, creator of the DDD Experts and DDD Con. Is there a place we can sit down?
Well, come on in.
Door-to-Door Con is right around the corner with Mastermind Day January 16th in Salt Lake City, Utah, with Tim Grover, author of Relentless, and Michael Jordan's coach. You also have Marquee, former NBA All-Star. January 17th and 18th at the Salt Palace in Salt Lake City, Utah, you have Ed Milet, Coach Burt, Tim Grover, and many more famous speakers and workshops on how to improve your leadership, sales, and recruiting. Register today, dddcon.com. For DDDU users, we have a DDDU after party Friday night. Don't miss out. Pre-register at doortodoorcon.com.
All right, everybody, this is Sam Taggart with the DDD Podcast. I'm here with Jess, how do you say, Udy?
Udy.
Udy?
Yeah.
UDY?
Yeah.
You ain't got no alibi? He is the number one salesman for Sprint, which is huge. I mean, they're a multi-billion-dollar organization, and that's gotta kind of feel good, right?
Oh, yeah.
Number one
great.
sales dude
Yeah.
in the entire Sprint organization. Okay. Which is a new emerging market, which is kind of cool, right? So it's like, the last 2, 3, 4 years, it's kind of been this whole, let's try to figure out how to couple it with TV, or do we not couple it? Do we just sell it as a standalone? I've kind of watched it. But now you just sell cell phones.
Yeah. So it's kind of been a crazy process because I know it went to a few different companies before they finally settled mostly on Caliber. But yeah, it's become a standalone product. I mean, as far as the money that you can make in it, it's just as good as any other industry in door-to-door. I just feel like it can be a little bit easier to sell.
So everybody's got a cell phone.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's probably switch over mania.
Yeah, that's all it is.
You're not like, hey, are you a fresh door? Hey, are you still on the home phone?
Yeah, and the people that don't have cell phones, I just walk away from.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not even
there's
gonna
no
try.
point. Yeah.
So number one in the world, 820 right now. I'm still counting, right? The goal is to hit, how many do you think you'll hit at the end of the year? Or season?
Over 900, that's the goal. That's been the goal all year. Yeah.
So 900. So if you're listening to this, 800 is the new golden door mark, which I think, 2 in your knowledge will probably hit that, maybe 3.
Potentially 3. Yeah.
Well, tell that who's the third, who's the guy that we need to kick in the butt and be like, let's go.
I don't remember who it was. We'll have to check.
Okay, so
yeah, I'll make sure I let him know though.
What's interesting is the most that anyone had sold, trying to figure this out last year, was what?
It was 410 last year.
410.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the reasons why Sprint has become more viable as a standalone rather than coupling it with like a dish or like even like any sort of like supplement to that, is that the process has been so much easier. So as far as the sales process, it's something that we can do now in 15 minutes. Whereas last year, not to take anything away from those guys for sure, the process was like 45 minutes.
To get somebody signed up.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
honestly, I was going to go add a line for this watch I got. And I was nervous because I was like, I don't want to go into T-Mobile because I know, like, you know what I mean? In my mind, I don't know why, though. Like, I had this whole thing of, like, if I call them, it's going to be like an hour on the phone. And so the fact that you can do it in 15 minutes, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is nice because I actually worked in a Sprint store, which is one of the things that, like, appealed to me about this in the first place, for about a year back in 2014. And that's what I tell all my customers now is, like, they don't have to leave their home. Like, you go into a cell phone store, you're there for like 2 hours and you're standing and it sucks. And here they can sit on their couch, kind of like you and me, and I can sign you up in 15, 20 minutes.
That's cool.
So it's actually really convenient.
So you went from 410 as what the industry knew as the ceiling, and now you just busted through that. You're going to finish with over 900 lines. Like, what was the goal? I mean, did you even know that was the goal?
No.
Yeah, I mean, this is your very first year.
Yeah.
No, this is straight ignorance is bliss in this moment, right? It's kind of like, did you even ask what the number was? Like,
no, I had no idea. Like,
we just looked it up. Like,
we had to check it before this.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is my first year doing door-to-door period. So I just wanted to come in. Like, I just had kind of a desire to be the best. I thought that I could. I knew that I could. I kind of knew the industry, so I knew I was ready to go. And I just went out and did it every day. Like I said, the process improved, which definitely helped do that. But like as far as everything else, it was just getting out and doing it. And I actually do consider myself like an expert in the product, and that's huge. Just a lot of amount of time of like studying pitches, studying sales, making sure I was.
So first year ever, true
Yeah.
rookie, and that's what's cool. Like true rookie door-to-door guy goes out and doubles the previous year's record. Like that's cool. What I guess like when you say I just go out every day, like what is cool is you knock in your backyard,
Yes.
which a lot of people, and me included, I've struggled at selling year-round in my backyard, being disciplined enough to go out every day. And it's funny, the wife's here, Amanda's chilling. And, you know, she's like, man, it's tough. I don't see him much. I'm like, well, what's interesting is some people thrive in that. Like, they can get out of bed and go hustle. Some people, it's like they need to be super removed. I mean, everybody's different. Like, what are some hacks that you have for us that helped you kind of get out of bed every day, get out in the doors, go perform?
I don't know. I feel like I just had a really good like core of leadership. The regionals I have, Jesse Smith, Justin Virgin, they just set like a great like path for me. They just told me what to do and I went and did it. And I really enjoyed that. And then like my team in general really pushed me as well. I have some really, really like solid reps. And we would push each other all year. And I think that's important. And I think that's something, because I've talked to a lot of guys who tried to sell in the winter. But from what I've seen, it's not like, I don't know if the core is there as much, because typically the door is for the summer and that's where the core is. And then if you want to sell in the winter, you kind of can. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, no, that's pretty common for most industries.
Okay. So I feel like we've built this to be a year-round product. And so we had the whole team aspect through the winter. And so that actually really, really helped. And
when you say keep going.
No.
When you say team aspect through the winter, are you saying like we meet every day?
Yeah, we
like
did.
Every day.
We did.
Okay,
yeah, it's kind of crazy. We're probably going to change up a little bit about what we do this winter and send a lot of guys out to warmer markets. But we want to sell this year round. We want it to be more of a thing that you're making a consistent income year round, rather than just having a huge couple months and then being done with your income through the year.
Yeah, because a lot of guys, they don't make enough in the summer, but they see this as a good long-term career because, you know, it's kind of like, what career can you graduate college and give yourself a double your raise every year? You know what I mean? Like, I got a 100% raise this year because I chose to, and I built a team and I grew it. You know what I mean? Because you probably could do that this next year, right?
Yes.
And that's where I think that by creating a sustainable, in my market, live there, sell there option is great for people, instead of them just saying, I'm going to do this through college and then go get a normal job that's year round, stable in my market. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, that is a thing. Like, people do that in other industries, and it sounds like Sprint, that's kind of a thing.
For sure. And it's been big, and I've loved it as far as from a recruiting standpoint, because I mean, you don't have to convince somebody to uproot themselves for a few months. You just say, hey, come try it out. And most people will come out with me, see if you sell, see the money, and then start. So that's been really nice, and that's the concept we have kind of around the country right now, where guys are opening markets.
Yeah, you're not like recruiting them. You're like, well, when can I start? Oh, well, in 5 months.
yeah, exactly. They can start the next week.
But you just plug them in and so let's go. So then that also gives me the problem, right? So this is where I feel like I run into because in solar it's that way, roofing it's that way. You know, other alarm companies do that. You know, it's not that you're the only one.
Oh yeah,
you're around.
For sure.
I do feel like a common problem, and I'm curious what your take is on this, because obviously you guys are winning. What do you do to keep people working versus I'm a dip at 6 piece, or I'm gonna, not work today because I'm gonna go hike a mountain. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is so common. Like, to keep people accountable, to keep people working in their own backyard, to plug them in and not make it like when you say come try it out, but then to get them really committed to staying with you instead of falling off and the turnover. I guess speak to that.
Yeah, good question. That has definitely been like a learning experience this year, especially like first time managing as well.
Yeah, it's like first time managing, like that's why I'm like, I'm curious if you have any codes.
Yeah.
Because there's a beauty to that. There's a beauty to being first year and first time managing, because you're not tainted by what everyone else has done. So there's pretty to that. I'm curious to listen to this.
Yeah, so we've been trying to figure out. It's been getting better as well. But like the biggest thing that I found is like just find as many guys as you can. Like a lot of guys, it's just not for, and especially I will say if a guy goes out for a summer and they don't love it, they've got a better chance to stay just because they've already committed. Here, if they don't love it, they're gone.
They're gone.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
The bright side to that is because it is a lot easier to get guys in the first place.
Yeah.
So it kind of just becomes a numbers game.
It's pick your poison.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I'll have to go through more, but then yeah, I see. But I get more recruits, but I lose more. So it pencils out.
Yeah,
like
yeah. So I mean, to be honest, turnover's been like relatively high due to that. But it's like the guys come in, they don't succeed, they go get it like an hourly job where they can make some money. But the guys who do come in and succeed, like super loyal, and I never worry about them like getting off the doors early or whatever. Like we've just found a really good core group of guys, and I think that's something that can be huge. Like being here at home, and then the other bright side of that is they have a way easier time recruiting themselves just because they literally live a few minutes from all their friends who
working normal jobs.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been crazy. But the other big thing I would speak on is just culture. We've made a lot of moves and improvements this year. I'm even bringing on a new like co-manager that also came kind of from the corporate world that I think can help a lot with culture in general. But I've noticed that as we've improved our culture, retention rates have stayed super high. And so I think if we had a new team starting, for instance, maybe I recruited a team to help build that culture from the start, I think they wouldn't have to go through quite as many growing pains as I have this year as far as like retention goes. But yeah.
So let's talk to that. So you come in from corporate.
Yes.
Do you feel like you started at 27, where a lot of these guys start when they're 21, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for the longest time, you're like, hell no, I'm never doing door to door, right? Off camera, we were like, yeah, you have to pay me $1 million to do door to door. And but I guess kind of what things have you mentally had to overcome to actually just say, hey, I'm doing door to door that helped you recruit into this industry? Would be the first question. Then I have another follow up question on that.
Well, I think a big one, and leading up to this, I thought about it. I think one of the biggest things that I loved about door to door, and there's other industries that have this, but in corporate, like I was getting like a salary and a base, and I feel like that salary always like limited me because I knew I had it, and like I just have like the personality, I guess, where I always wanted success, but that always limited me due to the fact that I always felt comfortable. And so coming over here, and that's been a big recruiting thing for me, is just like the ability to make as much money as you want. And without any base there, I see no ceiling either. And so like that was probably the most appealing thing, and the thing that really made me fall in love with door to door in general was just the ability to make exactly what you want. Like you were talking about earlier, if I wanted to choose to double my income next year, I could just go double my income. And that's what I legitimately loved about the industry.
That's cool.
So
then what things did you apply into corporate, meaning Weave and other industries that you worked in? Do you feel like you pulled any of the learning from that you're like, I'm going to put my own little flavor to this?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think culture comes down to that. Like Weave, for instance, I work for a company called CHG Healthcare. Both have great cultures, like super like people focused. Both of them were highly rated on like Glassdoor. Weave itself is like one of the best companies to work for in Utah. And so as far as like learning how to treat people and people that work with you and or for you or even like above you, I feel like I was able to bring a lot of like maturity into the industry that at least, I guess there's definitely good teams, but I think, a lot of what I've seen is like just a different culture.
It's like this wouldn't fly in the professional world.
Exactly, and it's different. It's different because I came in and I was like, whoa, all right, this is the exactly.
Yeah, I'm just messing, T-Line.
Love you, T-Line. But Anyway, that was one of the big things, is especially I could see that working for a summer, like for sure. And I understood like why it was there, but what I was trying to build in a year-round setting, and this is kind of something that I was talking to you about, the culture, being able to build something that's really sustainable. It needs to be like a different type of culture that's going to like supplement longevity. And so that's what I feel like I've been able to bring over from the corporate world, is just the ability to like treat people right, as far as like employees and like working with other people.
So how'd you jump right into management versus like the typical? Yeah, how'd that all work?
That was kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah.
That was kind of crazy. I guess.
So did you get recruited on early on, and then?
So it was kind of weird. My little brother got recruited from the guy who I was kind of working with at first, and we talk, and so I was asking him kind of about the job. I thought it was weird that he was selling Sprint door to door, and he was telling me how much he was making for every line and everything, and I was like, that's kind of crazy. I didn't believe it at first, so I went and talked to him. At first, I was telling my wife Amanda that I was going to start working from like 10 to 2 on Saturdays, because I felt like I could go out and make $500 on a Saturday, make $2,000 extra a month just to supplement my income that I was doing there. And I mean, turns out I went to meet with them. I sat down with Jesse Smith, and he, I don't know why he did it. He must have like saw something in me or something, but pretty much literally on the spot, that first one, he said, hey, we've got a market in Ogden. Like nobody's there right now. We had a manager who just kind of like,
didn't really do it.
Yeah. The team kind of went, and he was like, if you're interested, like I want to offer that to you. And so I went to her, and she freaked out.
In a good way, or in like
no, not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
Yeah, because Weave was a great company. I loved.
You had a base.
Yeah. And
she
were
had friends
comfortable.
though that had husbands that were falling out.
So
in my defense, I let you do it. So
yeah,
solid. No, supportive wife, obviously.
It took a little convincing, but I mean, I saw the numbers, and I ran over them with her. We figured it was going to be a good call, and so pretty much just jumped headfirst into it. I like literally quit on the spot.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So talk to me. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit to sales. I'm curious, selling Sprint. You know what I mean? What's the pitch? I wonder if you follow the steps that I typically teach, if it's different, like, would you kind of go through that?
Yeah. And I'm sure it's the same. I think any product has kind of the same steps, but something that I've done this year, as far as Sprint side goes, is just like keep it as short as possible. Everybody has a cell phone. Yeah. Sprint's also pretty well known, so I just want to like get that out there as quick as possible.
So you're pretty upfront. I'm with Sprint.
Yes, so upfront.
Yeah.
So upfront,
like you want to
so
leverage
quick.
that.
Yeah. And so
because some people, like, if they, like, for example, if I sell ADT, some people are very much like, I'm with ADT, and some people are like, hide the ADT because I don't want them to know that I'm with alarms yet.
Yeah, they want,
you know what I mean?
Rapport.
Yeah, so like, I'm curious. So you're really upfront. You're like, yeah, I'm a Sprint. Obviously, I have a cell phone.
Pretty transactional on the doors, honestly.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Do you ever go in, or do you do most of it on the
always in.
Always inside.
In.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
some
the first
some
thing.
transactions happen on the doors with some sales. Like pest control is very much on the door. Never go in. I go in. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
I want to hear this.
It is definitely a process in the house. So, okay, on the doors. Just, hey, super quick. My name's Jess. I'm here with Sprint. We've just been updating all of our towers around the nation. We're now within 1% of AT&T and Verizon. Who do you guys use for your cell phones? Boom. That's the pitch though. So that's it. That's what
you guys use?
Just quick. Yeah,
Here's what we're doing. You know.
Yeah.
Who do you use for your cell phone? So they have to answer. So I say Verizon. Let's say.
Okay. Verizon. Okay. All right. Awesome. How many lines do you have on it?
2.
Okay.
My wife.
And just so I know if I'd be able to help you guys at all, how much are you guys paying?
$169.
$169. All right. So good news. I actually will be able to save you quite a bit of money, probably anywhere from like $30 to $50 a month, depending on what you guys do. Do you have 2 or 3 minutes I can step aside, write you a quick quote?
Write you a quick quote.
Yeah.
Okay. And that way it feels a little less confrontational. I love that.
Yeah,
now think, if you're listening or watching this, how you could leverage that for your industry. Could I step in and write you a quick quote? That's a nugget in and of itself. Because you could use that in solar, you could use that in anything. It's like,
Yeah,
hey,
I
I'll
love
just step in. Is there, okay, say it one more time, the transition. Because a lot of people struggle with transition. So what's your transition?
Yeah, I just, so first off, like I say, oh, good news. We're actually going to be able to save you quite a bit of money. If you have 2 or 3 minutes, I can step inside, write you guys a quick quote.
Boom. And then do you put your head down kind of thing? Or what?
Yeah.
What's your body language there? Are you like the leap of faith guy, or are you like, no, I'll wait for them to kind of...
I'm like an in-between.
Okay.
I'll definitely motion in, but I'm not like one of those guys who will like run ahead into a shoulder. No. And hey, I respect those guys.
No, some guys are like, I'm coming in! And some guys are like, is it okay if I come in? And there's some, I mean, if that's your personality and you sell that way, good on you. No, but that's interesting, okay? So you go inside, and then you're basically like, okay, you have 2 lines that cost you this for unlimited.
Yeah, first thing in the door is pull up their bill. Like, it helps build a lot of rapport for them to see you, like, picking apart their bill, let them know what's on it, like what you can do compared to it. But essentially, I'm going to write a T on a piece of paper, right? Verizon over here, Sprint over here, exactly what they're getting on Verizon, what kind of phones they have, exactly what I give them on Sprint. They see it visually. Okay, I'm getting newer phones and I'm saving $40 a month. Like, still unlimited data. Maybe over here they only have like 6 gigs shared. So just so they can see on paper that it's like definitely something that makes sense to them. And then from that point, like the close, there's a lot more to it as far as like going over phones and stuff. Like,
how much is it? Yeah, how much of it is like the actual product sell, meaning like buying a phone versus buying a service? Like, are you selling them on like, dude, you don't want an Android, you want an iPhone, or like?
No. The nice thing is Sprint pays the same no matter if it's a flip phone, an Android, or iPhone.
Okay.
So, like, I never try to sell people on phones. I just get them what they want as far as that goes. But it's more selling them on the service of Sprint and like why Sprint. Because I mean that's one of the things, and I'm always straight up with people. They're like, oh, like how does Sprint compare with Verizon?
Yeah.
Hey, I'd be lying to you if I said Sprint was better than Verizon. Like, everybody knows Verizon's the best. However, for you guys in your specific scenario right now, it's going to be better for you. Sprint works here, works the places you go, and it's going to save you money.
Yeah, if you were living in freaking, like, Podunk, Texas, it's like, yeah, we might have a different conversation.
Exactly.
I'm selling you in Salt Lake, or I'm selling you in Ogden. Like, Sprint's got to have good towers.
Yeah, or if they work in some, like, mining city in the middle of, like, Montana where Sprint doesn't get coverage, and I'll check that, and they're there, like, half the year, I'll literally just say, hey, Sprint's probably not for you.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to charge back. Yeah.
Yeah. That is so cool. So how often do people get new phones versus not new phones?
I would say probably like 80% they get new phones.
And are they financing that kind of part of their deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's all worked in there.
And that's part of the sales 15 minutes. I got to run your credit. I got to finance the phone.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. No, this is interesting. So I'm assuming you get the same kind of objections we get. So what kind of, I guess, what tips, things would you talk to a sales guy when it comes to, hey, no, I'm happy with the one I have, right? How many industries have that, right? So I say, hey, no, I'm super happy with the one I have. Not interested.
I guess just push it through. That one's obviously a smokescreen.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, I think most people are happy with what they have without really being willing to listen to anything else. So that, just like push through it. Just ask other questions. I have a few. So if they have Verizon, I'm happy with Verizon. I've been with them for 20 years. Like, I'll just like jump in with a few questions about unlimited data. Like I try to get price. Price is the biggest thing. But yeah, I would say just blow through those. And whether they're with T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, I'll have like a list of like questions to shoot at them right when I get that. Like, I'm already happy.
So you kind of pre-programmed, here's my Verizon questions, here's my T-Mobile questions.
Yeah.
Which I think that's a hack in and of itself. There's your nugget. It's people need to preload the chamber with, I know these 4 questions will help at least spark some interest if they say this, right? Is that kind of what you're doing?
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm obviously assuming over time when you've practiced it, you've said it 100 times, it's kind of like,
As
it just comes out rapid fire. You're not like, what did I write down in my notes the other day? That's what I'm wondering. So what other things like makes a successful first year guy? You know what I mean? Like, you got the sales script. It sounds like you kept it really simple, which I think is always cool. Like you're just straight to the point. Here we go. Probably get your 3-4 no's, and then you're like, moving on, right? There's other people I can sell. What's your best day? I'm curious.
33.
33 lines.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Was it a polygamous family or was it like 33 individuals?
No, I think it was, it was probably like, it was 6 or 7 accounts that day.
Really?
And so, I mean, and they ended up just all being like pretty big accounts, like 5 and 6.
Like you're selling in Utah.
Yeah, and there was actually one 9-liner mixed into that. So, yeah.
How often, here's a random question. How often do you get like, well, on my phone plan, you got my cousin, my uncle, my sister,
all the time.
Yeah, and they're like, I'd have to call them all. Like, is that kind of
that's actually, that's
probably like a legit, like, oh,
it is.
Really?
Yeah, that is actually, I mean, it's good because like once they talk to everybody, like big accounts are the best. And you just go close them back later. That's one thing. Like Sprint is actually pretty like weirdly reliable as far as go backs go. But yeah, that's actually one of the hardest things to overcome is like you're talking to the account holder. You actually have him, and he says, "Well, my brother, my sister, and my uncle. Like I'm gonna have to talk to all of them before I can tell you anything." Yeah. He says, "I'm sold," but then the issue is, I mean, we all run into this, but you can't. Your customer's never going to sell their family as well as you could or explain things as well. So a lot of times, like, that will be a stonewall for you because they'll just come back and say, hey, my sister's not interested. She's not willing to talk to you either.
Yeah. But now you're just like, dude, that's self-worth.
Yeah. But it is nice because I always just grab their number. I'll follow up with them that night. Have you had a chance to talk to him? Oh, I've talked to these two. They're in. And then they finally talk to us and I go back to the next day.
Okay.
So
there is some follow-up there because I was like, man, that's a true, like, condition sometimes. It's like, dude, if I did this, their phone would turn off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't like screw my brother over. Like that's not gonna fly. So yeah, advice, like let's kind of wrap up on this.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you obviously for coming in and making this happen. I think this is awesome. I've been wanting to get from phone people. Mike, shout out if you're watching this. Jaime, hit me back. You owe me a phone call, by the way. I called him today. So my question would be, advice for that first year guy, because obviously you went out of the gates, crushed it your first year. What would you tell that guy? I'm brand new to the industry, just like you were maybe a year ago. What would you tell him?
I would just say probably the biggest, well, I guess one, I'm pretty competitive and I think that's huge. Like you have to have a desire to like be the best. And I think as a first year rep, you can do it. But I think the absolute biggest thing is going to be knowledge. And that's what I came in and did right off the bat is not only like just the sales process and learning how to sell like door to door, but just the product in general. I wanted to be able to make it so that every time a customer asked me any question, I would be able to answer it without like a hesitation.
Where's these towers?
Yes.
All these weird
exactly. And I will say with cell phones, there's a lot of those questions. And so it was just about being able to look like an expert at all times for the customer. And just have like, I don't know, just like the right approach and process to the sale combined with a product knowledge. And I knew that was going to take me a long way. And I would suggest that to every rep because even reps that I see come through here that take a minute to get going, like they have all the talent in the world. But as far as product knowledge in the house, they could lose some sales because of something that they said or didn't say as far as like a question that was asked. So
no, that's great advice. Be the expert, like, you know what I mean? And people trust somebody that feels like they don't have to like, well, you know, if I had to guess, like, it's like, really? Like, I don't want to guess. I asked you a question. Like, you know, so I think that's a huge nugget, you know what I mean? Like, be a student, be an expert, you know, go figure out how you become the best at what you do.
For sure. And obviously that could go for anybody, but like first year guys, especially if you're in a product for the first time, like that I think will take you further than anything else.
Cool. Love it. Okay. Well, you guys heard it firsthand. You'll see him on the main stage. First cell phone guy to hit the golden door. I think that's exciting.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So much love. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah. Thank you.